Go on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Need a mortgage that fits your life? Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Jake Asman.
This National Football League offseason could just be unbelievable with the quarterback movement. Obviously, I'm based here in Houston, so I talk a lot of Deshaun Watson. I know a lot about the Deshaun Watson saga, but Deshaun Watson's not alone as far as notable quarterbacks that I think could be on the move. In fact, I would be shocked if we don't get at least two of the following names that get dealt to new teams this offseason. Deshaun Watson and either Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. And out of the second two names I named, to me, the two more likely names to get moved, or the move that's more likely to happen there, is Russell Wilson. Have you watched the Seattle Seahawks this year? They stink. They stink. They're not good. Even with Russell Wilson, who for years has bailed out what has been a very mediocre roster, this year he can't do it. Why? Because they stink. They're not good. And Russ coming back from injury has not been the same player. He just hasn't been. So I look at the Seattle Seahawks as a team that needs to really rebuild their roster. Like, this core is not good enough to win. They don't have enough. And it wouldn't shock me if Pete Carroll retires. So Russell Wilson's going to pull the act of asking for a trade like he basically did this past year, where he said, well, I don't want to be traded, but if I do want to be traded, here are the four teams. And he gave you Chicago, Vegas, New Orleans. Let me tell you, if Russell Wilson asked out, Seattle might have no choice but to do it. He's going to be 33 next year. They're not close to winning. And for Seattle, you don't have your first-round pick this year, which is in the top 4 right now. They made one of the worst trades in the NFL history. They traded the Jets two first-round picks and a third-round pick for a box safety that can't cover. Sure, Jamal Adams is a good safety. You don't win games in the NFL with a box safety. Jamal Adams is going for an edge rusher or a stud corner or a stud left tackle. Say that out loud. Seattle is ridiculously dumb for that deal. I said that at the time, and it's laughable how bad that trade has been since they made it. Laughable. So I look at this upcoming offseason here, and I think they got to trade Russell Wilson. And if Russell Wilson asks out, they might not have any choice but to listen, especially if Pete Carroll retires, like some of the reports are that he might. The Giants should be all in on Russell Wilson. Why the New York Giants? Well, the New York Giants have 2 first-round picks. You know where those picks are right now? Thankfully, I live on the website Tankathon as someone who roots for a bad football team myself. And if you go to tankathon.com, you'll notice right now the Giants have the 6th overall pick and the 7th overall pick. Why do they have 2 first-round picks in the top 7? Well, because last year, the Bears traded up to number 11 to get Justin Fields, and the Giants accumulated an extra 1. Dave Gettleman, the guy who made that trade, the Giants GM, guess what's going to happen to him this offseason? He gone. They're going to move on. New GM's going to come in. That guy's going to have to work with Joe Judge, the Giants head coach. He's not going anywhere. John Mara wants to make sweet love to Joe Judge. He loves him so much. I don't know why. I don't see it. But Joe Judge is not going anywhere. He's going to get a 3rd year. You know what Joe Judge needs? A quarterback if he wants to win. Because Daniel Jones ain't it. I'm sorry, he's not. He's flashed at times, but he's gotten worse each year from his rookie season. Look at Daniel Jones statistically as a rookie. He hasn't been close to that in his 2nd and 3rd year. It makes no sense, but that's the case. I'm sorry. Daniel Jones is a lot like Sam Darnold. If we still don't know what the quarterback is after 3 years, it's time to move on. And if you're going to bring back Joe Judge, but you're going to get rid of the GM that drafted Daniel Jones, you need a quarterback. The Giants don't have a whole lot of cap space. They went all in this year by signing Kenny Golladay, by going out there and drafting Kadarius Toney in the 1st round. They thought they were a team this year that could win with a quarterback in year 3. Well, guess what? They thought wrong. Daniel Jones is not the answer. He's just not. So you know who could be the answer if you're the New York Giants? Russell Wilson. Seattle might have no choice. Where are they getting a better offer than the 2 ones the Giants could package? And if you say, well, I don't know if Russell Wilson's worth 2 first-round picks, especially 2 first-round picks in the top 7, Jake, that's too much. Look at the Giants' draft record and tell me that you wouldn't trade some of their random first-round picks over the last couple of years for Russell Wilson. I know Russell Wilson's not having a great year, but we're a year removed from him throwing over 40 touchdowns and being in the MVP conversation. The guy could still play. And I think he'd welcome the challenge of going to the biggest media market in the world and going out there and trying to resurrect the Giants franchise. Look, the reality is the Giants are on a good team right now, but I think if you add Russell Wilson to their team and you give Russell Wilson Saquon Barkley, Kenny Galladay, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, Evan Ingram, Kyle Rudolph, I bet you Russell Wilson would have the Giants a whole heck of a lot better than their current 4-7 record. All right, that's the move to make for the Giants. I don't think you'll get Deshaun Watson. I don't know if the Mara family wants to go down that road, especially when Watson's going to get at some point a significant suspension. But the move to make for the Giants is Russell Wilson. You don't think Sierra would want to live in New York City? That's the move to make. Trade away the 6th and the 7th pick or wherever those picks end up. Give Seattle back those picks and let them start their rebuild. Also make the deal so I can watch Jamal Adams go from thinking that he's in a good spot having a quarterback to now having nothing around him. Oh, would that be great? But the reality is the Giants, I don't think, are that far away if they had a big-time quarterback. I really don't. I just don't think Daniel Jones is any good. And we make so many excuses for Daniel Jones. Oh, the O-line. Oh, his weapons are hurt. At some point, show us something, Daniel Jones. Every big game, this guy loses. You know, Daniel Jones has never won a primetime game in his career. He's not the guy. And the Giants are fooling themselves if they think bringing back Daniel Jones for year 4 is the move. Joe Judge is fooling himself if he thinks that's the right move to make. He'll be fired after his 3rd season if they run it back, I should say, with Danny Dimes. He's not good. When you can't take care of the ball and then you always miss games every year, you're not a franchise quarterback. Daniel Jones has now missed games each of his first 3 seasons. You know who's playing quarterback for the Giants on Sunday against the Dolphins? Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon's known for 2 things: stinking at football and having the longest neck in the history of football. That's it. That guy's now playing quarterback for the Giants because Daniel Jones can't stay healthy. Russell Wilson solves your problems if you're the Giants. I would trade whatever. No pick is too much for Russ. I don't care if he's going to be 33. Quarterbacks play into their 40s now. He's worth it. Because you're not going to be able to draft a quarterback with those picks. That's another thing I should highlight. It's not like the option for the Giants is like what the Jets did with Darnold, right? They traded him knowing, hey, they have the 2nd overall pick. They're going to draft Zach Wilson in a loaded quarterback draft. This ain't that draft this year, folks. Matt Corral, Sam Howell, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis. I don't even know who the top guy is right now. There isn't a top guy. It's not Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. That doesn't exist. So the Giants are sitting there with the 6th and 7th pick. What players are they taking that helps them get over the hump if their quarterback remains terrible? There isn't that player. That's why they should be all in on Russell Wilson. I'd say be all in on Aaron Rodgers as well, but he's older. I'd rather Russell Wilson than Rodgers. I really would. Rodgers is better, but Russell Wilson's younger. And I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is leaving Green Bay. I think he might realize, hey, we have a pretty good here. I love Rodgers complaining about his situation in Green Bay. All they do is win games. Imagine that. 13-3 each of the last 2 years. They're well on their way to being, one of the best teams in the league again. I don't know if he's leaving. But Russell Wilson, I think he gone. And if you're the Giants and you're playing in a division with Dak Prescott, do whatever it takes to go up and get that guy. Get that guy. Give Seattle the draft picks, move on, and finally get a quarterback because you cannot tell me Daniel Jones is your quarterback of the future. Coming up, we talk more NFL football. Stay with us. Jake Asman here at SportsMap Radio.
This is Claudia's O'Reilly Auto Parts store.